Welcome. Be in the garden, be in nature. Well, we are at the beginning of December and it is a cold day, but I'm so happy to see you and I do trust that you are well. So as always, welcome. I trust you're well. I certainly am. December time, absolutely definitely winter. And today I'm inviting you to come with me around the garden as I really just reflect on what the year has offered and to have a little bit of a tidy up around the garden. So at this time of year, a lot of the plants that are deciduous, that is the plants that lose their leaves, have done precisely that. And you will see as I walk around the garden, many of the plants that are looking a little tatty and a little worse for wear, nonetheless, they are still perfect. I'm just going to show you some of those plants that I speak of. For example, we have the pyrocanthus over here, and as I've described before, the baubles have shown their best and now we've got the seeds. But this is a great plant because the seeds at this time of year, it looks as if it's the end of the plant, and in many ways it is, but the seeds will continue to grow and you will see these plants generation after generation. So whilst at this time of year they are looking battered and torn and not at their best, in many ways what these seeds hold are the future. Okay, so I love gardening because of that, because often it feels as if a plant has come to its end, and really what it's displaying is the beauty that it has for the future. So here's some of the plants here. Agapanthus, I think I called that pyrocanthus, didn't I? That's agapanthus over here. The betulus plant here, the tree here, has now spent its leaves and many of them have gone, but what you can see still are some buds which will come out for next year. So this tree is going into its dormant stage. There are still some of the rusty looking leaves that I've described before on this tree here, but the winds have taken most of them away. What I'm going to do today is look around the garden and see what needs my assistance. I have to be honest, I would normally have cut these lavender bushes back at this time of year. I often do that the first week in November. However, I've left it till now, and at this time of year I often just go around the garden and see who calls my name the most, and it would appear that the lavender is calling me. And so what I'm going to do now is trim the lavender back. I sometimes use pruning shears, but today I'm actually going to resort to using a little heavy duty tool today. So you're just going to see me as I trim back the lavender hedge. This is a job I should have done back in November. We're now at the beginning of December, and so I'm going to really just give it a quick cut back. When I cut this back, I'm going to cut this lavender back as far down as possible into, so long as I'm still into the new branches or twigs. I'm not going to go into any dead wood. If I go into dead wood, the plant will not rejuvenate itself. So I'm going to cut back as hard as possible, but avoid going into any dead wood. So that's what you're going to see me doing. And I've got to be quick, the rain is coming. Smells beautiful. So you can see a lot of the hedge here is really grown into the path a lot. I'm going to trim it all the way back neat as much as possible, and then I'm going to cut along the top so long as I'm not cutting into old wood. That's what you're going to see me doing. And we need to be quick before the rain really comes in. Behind the lavender is Euronymous. Can you see that beautiful yellow and green evergreen shrub? I'm going to trim that back ever so slightly too, ever so slightly. The next plant that's going to show off its beauty will be this plant here. I keep going on about it, but I really do think it's a plant worth having. Evergreen Sarcococca confusa. We are in December, and come January, February time, look how huge it is now. It's probably about 6 feet wide, that's about 2 meters, and about 3 feet tall, and it's going to give out the most incredible smell. Sarcococca confusa. But I've got to carry on now, just cutting off the lavender here, trimming it back hard, but avoiding cutting back into old wood. Hopefully you can already see the difference. Just tidied it up a little bit. I'm not going to do too much here. What I'm going to do now is just rake up the cuttings. If it was a dry day, as is often the case when I cut it in November, I would have raked these up and kept the lavenders for when I do my bees, when I use smoke occasionally on my beehive. But because they're very damp and moist, I'm going to be raking up now all these leaves, not all of them, but much of them. That's the next task. These leaves here are mostly from this poplar tree all the way up here, plus my crab apples. So I'm going to start raking up now. That's my next job. And with the leaves that I rake up, they will go predominantly into where the bananas are. Okay, as I do annually, I rake up the leaves and I put them around the base of the banana plants. As you can see, the bananas at this time of year, winter, December, are affected now by the frost. The leaves have bent over, and the frost and the cold. We've had temperatures of about -1, 0 around that time, you know, around 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. I think it got as cold as -1 in recent days. So as you can see, the banana plant has done its best for the year. There are many people who leave their plants as they are, but I do tend to mollycoddle them a little bit. So I will mulch them really hard by putting all the leaves, and then I will also put some polystyrene boxes over the bases when I cut down the plant. I know that some people do not cut the plants back and just allow them to hopefully survive the winter, but I will be protecting my banana plant. So just to take you a little bit of a trip around the garden at this time of year, it's just looking bare. The apples have come and gone and we've enjoyed those. And a lot of plants are just looking like they too just want to hibernate for the winter and come back in all their glory in the new year. This plant here will be one of the first to come to flower in the new year, and this is the forsythia. It will have the yellow buds, the yellow flowers, but the garden is absolutely still looking beautiful, but it's now got its winter coat on. So let me get on with the next job, which is to rake up some leaves. This is my favourite rake for raking up leaves. It's just so efficient. It's not a spring rake. I'm not sure what you would call this one, but it really is very efficient at raking up. I'm not sponsored, as you know, in any of my videos, but it's a great rake. It does a great job. It has a great spread. Quick and it's easy. Am I in shot? And if I haven't told you before, being in the garden is natural exercise. So I'm here huffing and puffing because my heart rate has gone up because I'm just doing some natural exercise in the garden. So it's a great way to keep your health up by being in the garden. Heart rate has gone up, blood is whooshing all over my body, my blood vessels are dilating as they allow the rejuvenated oxygen. What better place to be than in the garden, out in nature, getting in some fresh oxygen. So I am not complaining, I'm enjoying this. It's 2 for 1. Tidying up the, well actually it's multiple things. Tidying up the garden, getting some free exercise, gathering the leaves for the compost, or my banana plants, using it as mulch. So win-win as always. And of course, I always say for those of you who don't have gardens, if you can, maybe help a neighbour. It might be a neighbour of yours who needs, or who could do with a little bit of help at this time of year, just raking up some leaves so it's not slippery for them. Maybe they have mobility issues, and you could help them rake up, tidy up their garden. Yeah, all right, now to get this onto either around some plants like the bananas, or to put into the compost to break down and create some compost for me for next year. Okay, so I want to say thank you for watching me in this video. Your support is so encouraging. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. But if you are able to share this video to somebody who might appreciate this as well at this time of year, I'm giving thoughts of encouragement to each and every one of us as we get through the winter months, which I know can be quite daunting for a lot of people. Check out the leaves. I've put them into the beds. I'm going to continue raking up. I'm sure I'm more gibbery today. I know I am, but you understand what I'm trying to say. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.